picked up your 100th win as a team. What does that mean to you as team owners to have 100 wins in the Cup Series?
Glad to get it behind us. When we won 99 with Blaney in 2017, everybody expected it to happen the next week, and finally it did with Harrison, which was at Daytona, which basically that doubled the meaning of everything we did. It was a huge deal.
Like you said, winning your 100th race at Daytona, that's big right there. Just that in itself. Our dad raced on the beach, on the sand, in in the mid 50s. So Daytona's always been special to our family, and if I could pick a place to win it, it would be there.
Is there any added significance in the fact that you guys have had some troubles being competitive this year, and to come back and win a race, and now you're in the playoffs? Is there any more satisfaction in that?
We've had good runs, but we've had some poor runs too. A lot of accidents, not Harrison's causing. But for Daytona, he's always been good on speedway races. He was very good at Daytona the first year we were there, leading the race about lap 60, and he gets flipped over. Then there was a couple of other races where 20 to go, we had made our final fuel stop, and we're leading, actually one time with Joey Logano in a breakaway, like 7-second lead on the field, but then a caution falls, and before you know it, you're in an accident. So you never know until you get to the start-finish line.
Yeah, that's right. It just, we've struggled some lately, which everybody does. You have good races and bad races, but when you win a race like Harrison won that one, a green-white checker with Kyle Busch on your inside, that it doesn't get any better than that. It just, winning kind of fixes everything. You kind of forget all the stuff behind you. You start over. So now you're in the playoffs, so perfect place to start over.
Final question for both of you. 100 wins is a really significant milestone. Any plans to save that car and put it in the museum?
Yeah, we're gonna take that out of rotation. We've already talked to NASCAR about it, so it will wind up in our museum at the store. So how could you not keep a car like that?
Right. And I've talked to Doug Yates about the engine. The engine has to be run one more time because of the sealed engine. It has to be run at Talladega. It'll be torn down, but after that, we're making plans to have it rebuilt back as it was.
Thank you, guys.
So they'll put it back in the car, so it'll be a complete car.
Jeremy Bullins, what does it mean to you to be a part of the Wood Brothers 100th win team?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Having started my career at the Wood Brothers and being there for 97 and getting 99 with Blaney. When we got moved to the 12 car with Blaney, it was kind of the box left unchecked that we didn't get 100 with Blaney when we were there, and so to get the opportunity to come back and be able to pull it off and score the 100th win really meant a lot.
What did it mean to you have the guys that you have worked with, like Blaney and Cindric, come and congratulate you guys and spend that moment with you?
Yeah, I think that is a testament to the Wood family and the impact that they've had on so many people in this garage. And the one consistent thing in this sport that hasn't changed since it started is the Wood Brothers. So pretty cool to see the 21 in victory lane again, and hopefully we can get there again soon.
You guys are in the playoffs now. How do you prepare for the first couple weeks, especially with the wild card races coming up like Atlanta and Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I think Atlanta is another track that's really strong for us. We ran really well there in the spring, and I feel like it's a racetrack that we can go contend at and hopefully score some stage points and maybe even get another win and move ourselves to the next round.
Last question, with you guys being in the playoffs, is there any added support you get from Penske?
I feel like we get the same support that we get every week to try to be as close to the other Penske cars as we can. So I don't think that'll change. I think we'll get the same support we typically do, which is to try to be the same as the other cars.
But I'll know soon and get that done, and then try to finish this year off with the Wood Brothers the way we need to.
What gives you the confidence that you will have something?
I don't know. I just have talked to a good amount of teams and have a good feeling of where I'm at. And obviously, you're never employed until you sign on the dotted line, and then even still, you don't really trust it until you show it to Daytona. It's just the way the business is. But yeah, I feel good about it and feel like I've got a good support system around me as far as my family and my management group that's helping me. So I feel good, and I'm able to just focus on the race at hand and try and do the best I can from there.
And last thing, the 100th win for the Wood brothers.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, obviously, it's been since last Saturday. It's I think sunk in finally, and I saw a fan with like a 100 wins T-shirt on in the fan zone earlier. So once they make those shirts, it's official, I guess. So just feel good about that, and feel proud to try and make the most out of this opportunity.
Carson, have you got your mind around the fact that, hey, next week when the playoffs start, I'm part of it, and I've got to come up with a playoff plan?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, we were not in the playoffs going into that weekend, and not really close. But what it has done is gotten us kind of refocused into a spot where I feel like, I can, use this to energize our team, and I feel like we're doing that. We're doing the right things at the race shop to show up with fast Ford Mustangs. We're doing the right thing on, weekdays, week in and week out to prepare, and I think it showed in practice. We were pretty good, yesterday in practice, and just having that new mentality of being a playoff team, and I think we can do it. We just have to execute well and make the most of the opportunity.
How about yourself? Are you pretty confident that you'll be focused to stay on task instead of thinking, this is amazing that I'm here?
Yeah, I think so. I'm lucky I've been there in the Xfinity Series before. I've been in a lot of situations where your nerves are tested, right? And one of them was this past Saturday, right? So I feel like I've been able to power through that and perform well in those scenarios, and almost better in those scenarios sometimes. So I feel like having something to race for is going to be really big for our team.
What's your week been like for you?
Busy. A lot of interviews, a lot more cameras in my face than usual. Like right now, normally I do one of these media things, there's like 3 or 4 people, but it's been good. It's been really fun to enjoy it. I've enjoyed just preparing for this weekend as well. Like, it has forced you to move on and do the best you can for this weekend. And you have the Southern 500 in front of us today, which is one of the hardest races of the year. So forces you to stay on task, forces you to show up prepared, and that's just what Darlington does. So, I've enjoyed it, but, now it's time to go and try and move on, right? Like, as much as it sucks sometimes, and as much as it's great other times, there's always a race next week. So we've got to just treat it that way and move on to the next and use the momentum for this weekend.
Is it hard to talk yourself over cloud 9?
Not really. No, I mean, once you get there and achieve it, it goes by fast, and you cherish those moments you had when you won. But once the next week rolls around, there's a lot of, not anxiety, but worry about the next weekend, right? It forces you to get worried about this weekend. What do you need to do to prepare, be physically ready? So it wasn't too hard. It just kind of naturally happened. It's harder to almost celebrate the way you need to enjoy it and remember it the way you should than it is to kind of move on to the next weekend sometimes.
Your win came 10 years to the anniversary of your dad's final NASCAR start. He said that
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. He said that was the weekend your sister moved to college. What do you remember from that weekend?
Yeah, I remember it was sad. It's crazy, like you just never knew with him. He was full-time for so long. He won a lot of races. And I remember as a kid just feeling so secure that he would race till he was 65, right? And I remember when he was done and told us that he was done, it was sad for me because I just liked going to the races and watching my dad. But then it turned into being pretty cool just because I was around my dad. When I grew up, he was gone a lot. I spent a lot of time with just my mom. And he had to be gone a lot the way I am now, right? And, it's definitely something that I was sad when it happened, but then, you come to realize the benefits of, being out of the sport and being just a dad again. And I think he enjoyed that as well.
Is there any chance the Wood Brothers will save your winning car, or will it be?
I think so. I think they are. I don't know for sure, but I know they have a lot of wins, and I think their 100th for them is really significant. So I hope that car is in the museum. I think it will be. I had new seat belts this weekend, which means that I'm pretty sure that seat belt is still in that seat of the other car. So I could tell. I was like, okay, they saved those seat belts. So I think the car will be pretty much intact and the way it was, which is really cool.
Have you seen any sort of
extra focus or more focus? Like, have they started talking to you about Atlanta yet and prep for Atlanta when maybe a week ago you wouldn't have started that yet?
A little bit. I think, it's really hard because this weekend is really important, right, to continue the momentum we have. And now we're looking for playoff points, right? So, every weekend now gets really, really important. And Atlanta is hard to not, like you said, look ahead and, really don't want to overlook this weekend, right? I think this is a really important weekend for us as a team. So I haven't watched any Atlanta film yet, haven't watched any SMT or anything for Atlanta. Trying to just stay in the moment and prepare the same way I would have week in and week out. And I think that'll pay dividends for just performing the same way and showing up and, making our best effort.
Well, your efforts haven't really changed, but how do you feel mentally having this behind you and then moving forward?
It's good. It's definitely not a bad thing. I mean, there's something about checking a box, right? That means a lot, and it's definitely, I think the most confidence-inducing thing is that it was against Kyle Busch on a green-white checkered with Christopher Bell helping him push, and I think finding a way to win in those moments when the outside eye and maybe even your own eye says, okay, this might be tough to pull this off. I think finding a way to make that happen is cool. And it shows that you can do it, right? And shows to yourself that you can do it, shows your race team that you can do it. So, I think it's confidence-inducing, but also you have to understand that there's no magic switch that's been flipped, right? I'm not all of a sudden, 100 times better race car driver. I'm the same guy. Which is good and bad because I'm the same guy that won last week, but I'm also the same guy that ran 30th at Richmond. So you have to just move on and keep trudging away. And this sport rewards effort, and that's what we're putting into it, and we'll see what happens.
How did you kind of...
The Vivid EV Anthem is the essence of American spirit. Made with lithium battery technology, this neighborhood electric vehicle features vibrant colors, diamond stitch seats, and seats up to 6. It isn't just made in America, it's made for America.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Come back soon for more great racing videos. And if you like us, make sure to hit that subscribe button.